live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Strawn.
And this is episode 83. Great night. 1993. Yes. Slave traders bring back an evil voodoo entity that is accidentally freed by the Confederate Army during the Civil War.
You do.
The entity possesses the bodies of dead soldiers to create an army of its own, bent on conquest. Using the corpses of both the North and the South.
Yes.
And I like how it's like released by the Confederate Army, those bastards.
Well, yeah, but just because they're bastards. just because. Well, you know what?
We're Yankees, though.
Wait,
what do we
wait
know?
a minute. It was like Germany. It was like Japan. Japan, yeah. Because they're losing and they're getting more and more desperate. So you know what's the step after that?
What's that?
Release the Kraken.
So this description, if it wasn't for this description,
yeah,
I don't think I would know what this movie was about.
You mean after watching it?
Yes. I watched this movie, but I read the description after I watched the movie. I was like, oh, that's what it was about.
You know, here there is one point in here and I think that this is definitely to the fault of the writers because they never explain, they never use the word zombie.
Right.
They never use the word voodoo or they don't ever use a word for the affected.
I didn't catch that it was voodoo until she was holding a doll and doing something with it. And I'm like, oh.
Well, did you see the flashbacks?
I'm starting to make connections now.
See, in the desert flashbacks,
yes,
I talked about that one time.
The
right?
cracked earth, yes.
Yeah, the cracked earth, and I. Oh well, there's so many things.
So, what was it? Go ahead. I'm just looking at my notes. I took my glasses off. Why did I do that? Anyway.
At first, it was extremely jarring at the beginning because the music was terrible and the sound effects were terrible and the DP work was marginal at best, you know.
Well, I almost turned this off when I saw who the production designer was. I almost turned it off. I was like, that.
Yeah. I don't know that I was drunk at the time.
Mick Strawn. He did an amazing job, actually, I thought. And I really like the crosses.
Yeah,
those
the
were
crosses came out really cool. Didn't
I like how they shot him kind of from behind, so you couldn't really see.
Well, there's a reason for that. Oh, okay. See, now in the beginning, where you see all the crosses, and by the way, I could not believe how many different places the crosses wind up in. I mean, we carried them and showed them everywhere, but the crosses were on that hillside, right? And we were so low budget. And so what we did is we borrowed all the uniforms from the reenactors, and then we went out and bought every freaking X-rated doll that we could. because honestly, you know, to rent a dummy in LA is about $100 a week.
You couldn't make one?
And we had 30 of them up there.
You couldn't craft it like sewing machines and...
Look, we have a lot to do, you freak. I mean, you know, this is a difficult thing. I mean, you know, it's enough for us to actually put those things up, you know, and so we didn't have any money for it, so we turned the heads backwards the other way, and every time you look at them, and the thing that's great is I mean, you don't think about it when you're the one that puts it all together, but the DP was up on the hill, and he's trying to get a meter reading, and he climbs the hill and turns around and points the meter back, and all he's looking at is these orifice mouths down on the ground,
upside down.
Yeah, upside down. Basically there's 30, you know, jobs looking him right in the face, and he just starts cracking up, and we swear I thought he was gonna fall down the hill because he had to get down on one knee, and it was like, oh god, he says this is so priceless because this doesn't look like anything like it does from the other side, you know.
You need like a bunch of German tourists to come through or something.
Exactly. And why didn't we, right? No, that's the question. So there was that.
I do have to mention that I was reading the notes on this, and it said that it was released under 4 titles, not 1, not 2, but 4.
4 titles.
The Lost Bridge, Ghost Brigade, Grey Knight, and The Killing Box.
Really?
And it was also Matt LeBlanc's film debut.
Really?
Yeah. So
I didn't even see him.
But yeah, I was going to ask you about that. No, I don't remember seeing him. I
was looking for him.
I thought he was one of the guys with the crosses.
You know what was really odd though is this was pre-skinny Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
And he was pretty big.
Yeah.
You know, and almost unrecognizable.
Damn good redneck though.
You know, yeah, he does. He makes a good redneck.
And actually, David Arquette, he's one of my heroes. I like him.
And which one was David Arquette?
He was only in there for like 10 seconds. He was in the barn.
Oh, yeah.
He only lasted like 30 seconds.
Right, yeah,
before
right. Yeah, I remember that.
So, this is a zombie movie, or what is it? Because they didn't act like zombies. They just acted normal, basically.
Well, you know what's really weird is
paled their face a little bit.
Is that they would go down with a bullet.
Yes.
But they would come back. You know,
right?
But that was confusing.
Well, she was bringing back the dead bodies, right? And
yeah,
is that what she was doing? I thought she was bringing back the dead bodies. Well, that's what it says here. Yeah, possesses the bodies of dead soldiers to create an army.
Right. Well, they would die. See, in the end, you see where she died.
Yeah.
Then she started to come back.
And then I'm not really a fan of the voiceover. Like, this is the one time that we fought together.
And that was Martin. That was Martin.
Was it Martin Sheen?
It was Martin Sheen. Yeah.
And I didn't like the guy that played the captain because I couldn't understand what the hell he was saying. He was like, he was talking like really soft. And
Corbin Bernsen.
No, Corbin Bernsen was good.
He was good.
I'm talking about the captain that was the guy that was trying to leave, and they said, "Oh, you can't leave because we have another thing for you to do." Remember that guy?
Aidan Quinn.
Yeah.
You mean?
Wait a minute. No. Adrian
Pazdar?
Yeah. So he was at the beginning. He was like, he was trying to leave because he was going back to preach or whatever it was.
Oh, right.
But he was talking like really soft.
Yeah.
I was like, they should have had Charlie Sheen in that role.
Right. What I did like the guy that was the leader of the other group. What is his name?
Oh boy.
Might be Jefferson Mays.
Oh, okay.
He was the leader of the zombie.
Yeah, Jefferson Mays.
Yeah, the leader of the he's a good actor.
Yeah,
he really is. He had a weird thing going on.
Well, this had a lot of creative actors in it.
It did have a lot of.
And I really like Corbin Burns in it because I've only seen him in L.A. Law.
I have loved Corbin.
I love seeing him in L.A. Law.
And I love working with Corbin. And the weird thing about Corbin is Corbin. I did a bunch of shows with him that never showed up on IMDb that he released foreign.
Oh.
But what he would do is he would say, don't take your money and put it in a bank or something like that. He said, take your money and be like everybody else. Go out and produce something and distribute it yourself if you have to. So he'd made a whole bunch of films in his life, like little films here and there. And the thing is I would see him all the time. And he was just the nicest guy. Yeah, he really was. He was a nice guy, and he was like a driven hustler. He was like a which is weird. You don't see very many actors that are hustlers.
Well, I'm trying to remember what I've seen him in because I feel like I haven't really seen him. At least not that I remember.
Oh yeah, well.
So the fact that he was doing that, it makes more sense to me now.
Yeah, no, he wanted to do his own thing.
Yeah. Well, he does a lot of TV, or did a lot of TV.
Yeah, he does a lot of TV, but he also does a lot of produces his own shows.
Ah, okay. So he's still producing?
Yeah, this is his own stuff.
Working on Life with Dog and Mary for Mayor.
But I mean, these are his shows. I mean, he literally writes them and
he was on this while he was on in the same time frame because L.A. Law was on till
right,
94, 95.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
He
was really popular during this. Yeah.
And so was like that. I mean, all the actors were. So if you want to go back and remember some of the big actors in the 90s,
all these guys were really, And the thing is this was the director was the original director. George Hickenlooper was the director. and he did a short film called Sling Blade. And Billy Bob Thornton was a friend of his from the same town, and Billy Bob Thornton bought that from him, the short film, and made the film Sling Blade. Yeah. But that was in '96. That was 3 years after this film.
Wow.
So, friends hiring friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Billy Bob Thornton winds up all through this film.
Was this when Billy Bob was dating his cousin? Or
I don't know.
Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This was definitely when he was a lot heavier. And I have to tell you, he looks like a human being more than he does now.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I mean, he doesn't. He looks like he would get arrested, at 3 o'clock in the morning, walking out of a 7-Eleven.
But now or before?
Before he just looked like a guy.
And so we watched the director's cut, which was 10 minutes longer.
Right.
And this is the one that the director re-released in 2005 because he wanted to put it out as the Gray, like the Gray Knight.
I wonder if he had to buy it from Motion Picture America, which was Brad Cravoy's company.
I don't know.
Brad Cravoy did I remember when we had the big production meeting at the very beginning of the film, and he stood up and he said, there's only one thing that I think that this film needs, and he says it needs some tits.
I think you told me about that, but I didn't know what movie you were talking about.
No, this is the film.
Okay,
he said this, but he says, and then he goes, but honest to God, I have no idea where we would put the tits in this film. So I guess it's going to be an art film.
There's really only one woman, and that wouldn't make sense. So I had a question for you, because I saw on the list here,
sure,
C.J. Strawn was the production designer on here.
On here?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
No,
really?
And I was like, well, that's wrong.
C.J. Strawn. That is unbelievable.
So I'm like, what? You're not even credited on here. That's just wrong.
Well, did you notice the movie?
It is your sister, so I can't say anything bad about her. But but you know what I mean, though.
Sniveling bitch. But anyway. Oh, too soon?
So somehow she worked her way into your deal here.
And honest to God, and here's the weird thing. Honest to God, she wasn't even on this.
Wow, that's crazy.
Didn't do a thing on this.
So maybe it was just somebody got you guys confused or something.
Yeah. Well, but I've told you this before, that IMDb back in the 80s, IMDb was like a tragically badly set up.
Wasn't it a lot of it self-submitted at the beginning? Or, don't people submit their own?
But the thing is especially non-union, nobody gave a crap about credits.
Right.
And the thing is non-unions was becoming a thing, and nobody knew. See, there was a big scramble. There's a big difference between what was credited at the beginning of the 1980s to what was credited by the end of the 1990s.
Oh, okay.
Because that was 20 years where they, like, the idea before 1980 of actually giving a carpenter credit was crazy. You just didn't do it. You did it maybe as a favor or something, but it just, nobody said that carpenters needed credits.
Right.
And nowadays,
no, it's everybody.
It's absolutely everybody. Somebody
guy who walked by during filming.
Yeah, spit. He spit right next to me. So through that period, like I say, credits. Nobody ever got them right. But if you look at the film, I might add, if you look at the film, my credit is my name.
And of course, you've been on a lot of stuff that you're not credited for on IMDb.
A lot of things, yeah.
It's like somebody should get busy and start adding you.
Yeah, I don't care.
You need to start throwing your weight around.
I'd have to care.
Get somebody on that.
Look, you've seen how
Don't you have an agent?
You've seen how many pages mine runs.
What's your agent doing?
Really
Is he picking his nose?
Oh, shut up. Now, you've seen how many how my thing runs. Do I really need another page of credits? I don't.
Why not? For people that like listening to our podcast, I want to see what films he's done, and then they'll watch all your movies because they're Mick Strawn fans.
Yeah, well,
And they'll show up someday with their copy of Kazam. Can you sign this, please?
People give me things all the time.
But not Kazam, right?
No, not because
That would be out of the ordinary.
That would be.
Where's my copy?
Yeah, that'd be a little out of the ordinary. Okay, so
back to the movie.
Yeah, back to the movie.
Standing.
You can't read your own writing.
Neck support. Oh yeah, that was. I guess that's what they did with portraits, right, back in the day, so they could stand still.
Right.
That was a weird scene because he just kind of got back into it, and he was like drinking, and so I thought Martin Sheen was great, but it seemed like this wasn't one of his best performances. Is what my point is.
It was not very dynamic, but I have to tell you, it was very short.
Yeah,
and we were so low budget that all the furniture that you saw in that room was my mother's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, literally transferred it from San Bernardino out to there.
Wow.
Because the Antique Empire stuff and all that is really expensive.
That's crazy. So. Did you pay her for it, or did you just borrow it?
No, actually we did. I love Curl. Let me go down some. Oh, did you see the day for night shots? There was a period in there of stuff that was obviously day for night.
Really?
Yeah. You couldn't tell the difference? It was when she was running away from... She was running away from the ghoul. And then you could just tell from the tone of things that was shot during the day, but it was filtered for night.
There was some shots I really liked. There was a shot in the prison, I think it was. And it was really dark in the prison, but you can see like the brim of the hat kind of. Maybe it was because of the print we were watching, but the hat was kind of glowing a little bit.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just the silhouette was really cool. The guy with the brim. I don't know. I just like how it was shot. And maybe that wasn't one that was like. It was inside, obviously.
Yeah.
Where it was shot.
Well,
but there's a lot of light coming in from behind.
I remember we had that interior. There was something funny about the whole. Pond sequence, that the whole area we basically did about half of the film in a gully, right? And you saw the gully,
right.
The first thing I'm going to tell you is that when we did the sequence with the guns, the big guns up at the top of that hill, that was like all the spiky things were downhill here, and that was the creek at the bottom, and right up there, we had all the guns, and you could tell that hill was right there, pretty close, right? Well, there's a bluff right behind us here, and we were at the top of that bluff to watch those guns go off, and so, math is not our strong point because we're from our department, and, right. and I think that we wound up being like an eighth of a mile away from the guns, right? And they didn't point them down because all the guys were down there. They pointed them straight across at us because, well, A, I don't think they actually looked for us, and B, we're our department. It don't matter. We're not actually on camera. And so they fired this gun straight across. I'm not kidding. There were like 6 of us watching completely off camera. They're rolling up like this way. The guns are pointing straight out like this, and it flattened us. Literally, we're all laying on the ground, and they're desperately resetting for the next shot, and we were desperately running away. Man, that was loud. Knocked me right off my feet. So,
wow.
So in that area there, we built the big spiky things. Those were so cool. Those were so dangerous to have.
They look
around.
dangerous.
Oh my God, they're dangerous. We dulled the ends of them and stuff, but people would ride past them and walk past them, and like it just make you nervous. You're just like, it's just they were things. So then now we're in an area in Simi Valley. Okay, this is above LA and more to the west.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So Sylmar and all the rest of those are more to the east, and this is the valley, and then go up behind Chatsworth and go west, and very dry area. And we didn't have a creek, and there had to be a creek down there, right? And so what we wound up doing is just getting water trucks up at the top, damming it, and then just kind of like, beans, we needed a water truck there anyway because it was too dry to. You have to have backup water in case of a fire if you're shooting in a really dry area in LA, and so we had the water truck anyway. So instead of getting a 2500, we got a 4000, and we would just set it up at the top of that valley, dam it off down in different places as we went along, and just constantly feed water into it, and so we made our own creek. And the thing is it's described as a river. He describes it as a river, and I think I would have preferred, because every time we did it, I was going, it's not a river. Barely a creek. Barely a creek. And I have to say that the cut where Corbin's in the water and goes underneath the water and comes up, it doesn't work, does it?
No.
Because it is way too small of a creek to supply. Trust me in this, that there was a lot more water in the grotto than we ever got into the damn creek, you know.
I can see that.
But we were on stage, but we had built the grotto on stage.
I do like the use of fog.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of fog,
which is good because you were trying to make it look like the South, right?
Using those big ajibas, and we had a lot of like hanging moss that we put up there. That was hanging moss is a very southern thing. That whitish looking pale.
I lived in Florida. That was one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
the oak trees with the Spanish moss.
Yeah. And the ranch itself was a lot of little house on the prairie kind of houses and stuff, and we were carrying it at all times. We were carrying all kinds of pieces of house, burnt house, burnt, because it was supposed to look like Civil War and stuff. So we had at least one complete truck, 22-foot open bed truck that was just moving burnt out fireplaces and stuff like that all over the place, and debris and stuff. But there was one set, I don't know if you noticed the set in the end where they were doing the fight, that what we did is we went out and we got, they were clearing out an area to put track houses in about 5 miles further on down the valley. And we went out and we bought, and by bought, I mean we stole them at night, all the trees that they had lined up that they were going to burn. And we took and threw all those trees on and stripped them down to just gnarly, looking. And we dressed that final set like that. That whole battle, everywhere you look out there is just these old, gnarled branches and stuff and they make you feel like kind of uneasy in that area, which is because we've done too many like burnt burnt fireplaces and too much ash, and so we just did it with these fresher. Yeah. And my hanging
yes
got cut out. It got cut out.
The barn scene.
Yeah. Right. Barn scene. Which, and then I wrote down, are these zombies or vampires? I was having trouble, it was never really made clear. And oh my gosh, if you're going to have a group of people whistling that badly, oh my God.
It was pretty bad.
I mean, I guess you could say to yourself that it was at least fairly accurate, because it was damn obvious that was the group that was doing the whistling. Man, they were terrible. Boy, it was like no professionals used in that scene, that's for sure. That's why I wrote, what? No one can whistle here?
So it's something that they could improve on.
I'm British, for God's sake. I thought that was a great line. I'm British, for God's sake. Don't hit me.
Did you not? Did you think the music was kind of odd for
I thought it was terrible.
For what it was.
I mean, for what it was terrible. I mean, freak. It was just, And the little tiny pistol, I mean, not to, the little tiny pistol that goes through her and kills the guy behind her. Am I wrong in suspecting that a Derringer's not going to do that?
You're bringing up logic in a Civil War zombie movie.
You know what? It's the only Civil War zombie film I did. So I wanted it done right. So, and the other thing is...
was anybody high? Was Matt Greenberg or George Hickenlooper, were they in Hickenlooper? Sorry.
You saw Hickenlooper.
Was George...
You saw George.
Was George Hickenlooper... Do
you know who George was?
And Matt Greenberg, were they high when they did this?
Matt Greenberg was a lot of fun. He was nice. George was...
Was he in there?
Yeah, he was.
Really?
He was the painter.
Oh. The painter. I got to think about that.
He's kind of a dumpy looking guy.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that he died not long ago of drug overdose.
Ooh.
He was really quiet, you know?
Well, then I take back what I said about being high.
Yeah, really.
That's awkward.
See that wasn't very nice. Oh, he directed Casino Jack. Oh, the thing that he's most famous for is Apocalypse. Not Apocalypse Now, but the Hearts of Darkness, which was the making of, was a film about the making of that.
Cool.
And it is actually a very good film.
I think I remember Dogtown. I remember seeing that one. But anyway.
Okay, so yeah.
See, I don't have much to say because I really don't remember much about it.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I feel like I need to watch this 5 more times.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do that. I was there, kitties. I was there, kitties. So yeah, I don't have anything to add to all this. This is story time with Mick all the way through.
Yeah, well, that's how it is when we do yours.
That's right.
Ones you've worked on.
I do one of mine,
which I'm sad to say, I probably wouldn't give this a very high rating.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yes,
I'm with you. You
I mean, I'm probably at a 2, but a 2.5 with the fog.
Yeah, I think I understood it a little bit better.
I think I give you more. I think I give it more for the production design, and maybe it's because the way you described how you had to do everything.
Yeah,
I was like, well, they did a really good job with the budget they had.
Yeah, and we painted in all the grass that we painted. You know what was really weird?
Who had that job?
I literally had a guy that
was it with paintbrush?
His job at all. No. Airless sprayer.
Oh, okay.
You know, he had a 50-gallon barrel of what's called golf course green, and it's the only thing that they will let you spray vegetation with in California. And I think that we used 2 or 3 of them by the time we were done. But he was literally doing it from 2 weeks before we started filming until we were done.
Wow.
You know, just but you could cover a lot. I mean, we covered a lot of that ranch, you know, with green. But you know what was weird is it was a very it was a weird green because it wasn't bright green and it wasn't dark green, but the brown that was, you know, the brown or yellow that was came through it, so it had this sepia kind of feel to it. And what's weird is it worked
Civil War.
It worked really good for the film.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, it has that almost tinted feel, you know, which is oddly enough exactly what we did.
I would have really enjoyed this if it was in sepia tone.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been.
That would have been really cool.
Well, it was desaturated somewhat,
right.
You know. So we have to talk about the just really quickly. We have to talk about the scenes out in the crack in the salt bed.
Okay. Well, what would you rate this?
What would I rate it? I'd give it a 2.9, 2.8.
Ooh.
Yeah, well,
you know, it's close to your heart.
Well, I've also seen it a lot, and
I haven't seen it a lot.
So I understand it. I kind of understand what's
I think I
going
might.
on.
Maybe if I did watch it a couple more times, maybe I'd like it more.
You know, it actually
As an art film, I would give it a higher rating.
Yeah, it actually survives.
If I think of it as an art film going in, then I'd probably understand it more.
You know, it's a little bit jarring at first. It's, yeah, and I don't know what that is. It's just terrible print.
They weren't zombies either.
Terrible
They
print.
weren't walking like zombies.
No,
or talking,
they were vampires. That's the thing.
Yeah, vampires. Anyway, so the salt beds.
The salt beds. We have the guy sitting. The original disease was from them, right? And so they're all out there, and there was this one guy that they didn't catch it until dailies, like the next day, that was sitting there right in front of the camera with a watch and tennis shoes on.
Yeah, you told this one like that was a great story.
Right.
That just blows my mind.
Yeah,
and there were weren't there two camera operators that were kind of like
right. They're looking. So we only caught it from. So the thing is in the dream sequence they tinted it, blue. And kind of only went from the one weird, and that's why it's a weird camera angle. Okay. It's not a direct on camera angle. It's like the one that you would cut to as the second. As the second one that you would go to, which gives you a really weird feeling when you're looking at it. You're like, oh, I noticed it really a lot that I was missing the second wider camera because we had a lot. I mean, we were huge on that day. And right there.
How many cameras did you have on it?
Well, we had two cameras, but I'm saying that
it sounded like you had like three cameras.
Size of it, the size of how big we were, of the amount of people that we had and stuff. Right. Because it was
a lot of extras.
Yeah, a lot of extras. And it was
that is really funny though.
Yeah, freaking tennis shoes and a watch. It's like, really, guys? Really? I
would have left it in and sold it as a ad or something for Converse.
I don't know why it wouldn't work. Absolutely nobody would notice in the world. And those that did, they'd love it.
I think if you leave it in, it'd be like
they'd love it. Yeah,
truly be an art
film.
More
truly an art film. Truly an art film. Because now you're dealing with space and time.
Yes, the fabric of
space and time has folded in amongst itself.
Like there's 20 Kurt's right now.
Wrapping itself
and one Kurt
around the wounds
is
of
over here.
Of Civil War.
And one Kurt is over there.
Yeah.
One Kurt's strangling you. The other Kurt is like laughing at you.
Why does one of the Kurt's have to be strangling me?
I don't know.
No,
alternative realities, things that the Kurt would do in different situations.
I think it's rather,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's rather distressing.
This is actually a really good part of the podcast because we're both talking about two different things, and it's going to be really interesting to listen to.
I think we're both really tired.
I think so, just a little bit.
Okay, I think we're done with this thing.
Yeah,
let's put this turkey to bed.
Gobble gobble. Let's see. This is Kurt Thomas along with Nick Strawn. Thank you for listening to the Dream Warrior Review. If you have any questions or just have feedback for our show, we welcome them at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com. Of course, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter as well. As always, please follow us and tell your friends about us too. We want more followers. That's our goal, is to get up to 1 million followers in the next year. That's our goal. We want to get more followers. So if you can help us with that, that'd be great. See you next time.